Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel, and in this episode I continue my exploration around the sleepy dales of the Peak District, very close to where I live. Join me as I take a stroll, try to find a really nice shot and explore some really old agricultural buildings. It's just after 5:30 p.m. and it's bank holiday weekend, and not many people around here. I can see a few cows over in the distance, but other than that, I'm just going to go for a walk, similar to one I did not long ago, from literally sort of 5 minutes from my village. I'm going to go and walk round this little dale. So come and join me. If I see anything good, that's great. I've just got a really light field kit today. I've got the Sony A6700, which you're on. I have got the Hasselblad, but just with a 40mm, basically, you know, point and shoot style lens. So if I see anything nice, I'll take a shot. It's just that, filters, oh yeah, and I've packed a coat just in case it rains, which apparently it's going to be in the next hour or so. Grim. Okay, see you in a minute. There are some nice trees around here, particularly over in that direction in front of the hill. I sometimes wonder whether I've actually got a circular polarizer, because when I use this case CPL, very often it actually has no impact whatsoever. Anyway, I've just taken some reference shots which I can use for later, in marking sort of positions and territory, so take shots at a later date. Anyway, I've not got very far on this walk, so I'm going to put the camera away and get walking. But essentially I'm going to be walking down to the farm, across the fields, following the second dry stone wall in the distance there and round. If nothing else, it'll be a bit of exercise. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're forget-me-nots. I won't make a pun about. I'm trying to remember. I love agricultural buildings. The older the better. Look at this. Crazy. How old is that? It's a big barn. I know it's used. I've seen the farm here. Not here now, but this one here, I won't be surprised if it's got cattle in. You can hear them. Don't know if you heard that. Sheep. I'm sure there's some chickens in there. Either that, or a sheep with a very strange voice that sounds like it's clucking. So I've been on this area before, and I've filmed here a few times. Not quite sure that I've ever posted. I know I've been crikey, I'm trying to remember now. I was doing quite a lot of testing of gear around here, because to be quite frank, it's nice and peaceful and quiet, and I don't feel like I'm an idiot. There's some lambs up there. There's just the distant hum of traffic over from the main road, and it is a main road. It's a proper main road. You see, now this, I've said this before in an earlier video when I was when I was here, that if you just look, if I'm going to turn you around now, this is the path for the humans. That is a path made by the sheep. So if you weren't quite savvy, or if you didn't have a map, you'd be heading off course. And I've done that on more than one occasion around here. Not for long, thankfully, because I do have OS maps. Okay, so I'm going to just go cover another couple of fields, see if there's anything worth shooting. The light is absolutely dead. you do watch the channel, just disturbed a bird. If you do watch the channel, you may remember I was here and pointing out this is an old mining pit. Shaft, I should say, shaft. Disused now. Long history of mining in the Peak District. I believe there's some mines which go back a couple of thousand years. The Roman times. These ones, these shafts, probably more like 200 years ago. Hi, probably tell I'm being a little bit lazy. There's no tripod out. I'm stood on another old mine shaft. It's concrete sort of covers, which I'm guessing are actually covering where the entrance to shafts are. There's one here, one over there. I just walked past one a moment ago. It's quite interesting though. What I've got here, just over to your left, and this hawthorn tree, is a gap. We've got the hawthorn tree. There's a mound which is part of the mining disturbance. Another tree, which I can't tell what it is actually. Ooh, bloody fly. There's one going to go on YouTube, another YouTube channel. So there's a gap that goes through that. Then there's a farm wall, and then we've got a couple of layers as go in the distance. There's some interesting hedgerows which are coloured like copper. And then we've got that do you remember that's hill I mentioned, which is on the other side of my village. Now I've got a 40mm one, and it's going to be quite big, but we'll see. I'm not going to get the I'm not going to get the tripod out. Sorry, I just realised it's a directional mic. So I'm actually going to boost the ISO on this because I want to have quite a narrow aperture so I can get the front and the far distance in focus, sharp I should say. So I'm at f16, which should be plenty enough. It's always important to understand a little bit about focal distances, where to put your focus point on in the scene. So I had this is a medium format f16. It's probably around the equivalent of an f11 in full frame. An f11 should really be able to get everything in focus in this particular composition. Let me just show you. It's so flat. The light is so flat. There's just nothing. I tell you what, there is one view, but it's I'm going to just take a shot back across from where I came, and you can see those farm buildings. Well, I think I'm a glutton for punishment because this is the next day. You can probably tell that I am clothed slightly differently. I've got some waterproofs on because it is expected to rain. In fact, I think the whole country is probably due to have a bit of rain today. The old agricultural buildings again. So this is a new bit of path I've not been on, I should say, new to me. And it gives me views on the next valley, I guess. So I've got another barn down there in that field. I'm not sure. No, it's not. So I'm getting confused with all these barns. Taking photographs of a few of them in the past. Just basically as a subject anchor, you know, in the landscape. This looks very old. Looks like it had rendering or something. That slant there, slit type window, suggests to me it was a barn. These strip fields, which are very characteristic of Saxon farming. So an old system. Look at this, they're fascinating. Completely overgrown. Got a tree growing inside it. Probably not the most structurally secure. I don't know if that's a remnant of a gutter holder. See where all the old beams were. So there's certainly 2 floors. And if there were a front door, I'm guessing it's that. I have the same sort of stone archway at my house. And we've got steps over here going to the upstairs, further steps here. Let's take a shot. I can't beat a little bit of I hate the phrase, but I think it's called rural decay or agricultural decay. Horrible, isn't it? ISO 800, F13, shutter speed 90. Nice. Have you noticed that the roof is still intact on this side? And I would say it's not that very old. It probably is actually very old. Looks very, very thin. Slate, if you ask me. Fine for presumably barns and stuff. It's not Welsh blue either, so I don't know where it's from. Not that I'm an expert on slate. Look at that. Might be able to get. I don't think it'll be any. Oh, let's see if it's any good. Take a shot across there. I'm not talking about here. There's a lot of dead space here. If I take an X-pan, perhaps taking across there, might be quite nice. I will zoom in, but right over in the distance you can see the north part of the Peak District. But like Kinder Scouts and things like that. Take a deep breath. So hopefully you can see now what I was seeing. Using the Hasselblad and the 40mm lens, did an X-pan, and the first shot, as you can see, you're a little bit lower than my human eye level, but basically you can just about see that watering hole there. A little bit further in the distance we've got this, what looks like a very rusty, ready barn with a tree coming out of it. And then just above that, and to the left, then you've got the further valleys that I pointed out. Now I'm currently at 18, but if I just zoom you in, you might get a little better view of that. And that's the maximum I can go, but you can just about see those layers in the distance. I'm not sure I'll get that in my composition. I think it'll be just too small, but we'll see whether it comes out at all. What will come out, of course, is the this network of fields that we've got here, these strips of farm fields. The thing I've not taken a photo of, but I'll show you because it's quite interesting, and I can on this because it's got a panning. Hang on, make sure I turn the right knob, otherwise it's gonna. There you go. Right, okay. Just slowly pan you around, and I think, as you can just, this piece of farm gate is probably going to be out of focus, but if you just zoom in again, it's quite interesting. As that wall, can you see the wall going up the hill? Just to the left of it is further evidence of, I'm pretty much certain that's evidence of mining, and it could be, there could be shafts or it could be open cast, but basically you even got a wall that goes around it to enclose it, which is a telltale sign, and there's plenty of that around. It's nice to just stop and take it all in. When I was in the northeast, there was a lady who, when I was boring them and telling them about, my hobby is landscape photography, and she asked the question, she said, do you never feel that you're missing soaking or enjoying the actual surroundings because you're constantly on the lookout for an image, for a photograph? And I have to agree, yes, sometimes it's very easy to fall into the trap of just running around trying to find an image, sometimes for the sake of it. I'm definitely guilty of that. If I want to do videography to try and share my experiences, then you typically have to sort of if it's landscape photography, you got to come up with a photo, and so yeah, it's like the means. So the ends justifies the means, but the means is running around and not really enjoying it as much. I know I'm waffling there, but I think you get what I'm getting at. So it's just nice to sort of switch off, sit, and just take it all in. Something I will try to do as we progress in the spring season. I think it's going to be one of those where the spring just suddenly is gone and we're into summer, and everything gets overgrown and sometimes too much, maybe blue skies, maybe not, we shall see. Which reminds me, I have definitely got to make an effort on my checking out my next photo trip, deciding where I want to go, which is in June. It's early part of June.
And here are the final images from that day, starting with the 150-year-old barn. This was taken at f13 to get the whole barn sharp, and at 45 millimeters. It was interesting that a few days later I actually met the farmer who had owned this barn in his family for 26 years, and he'd recently sold it. It's completely dilapidated, but somebody actually from our local village had expressed an interest in buying it just as a chill-out place. Don't forget, it's not even connected, there's no mains, electricity, water, but basically do it up and have somewhere to relax. Sounds like a wonderful idea. And if you watched this far, thank you very much. If you enjoyed any of it, please press that like button. This is a really small channel. I'm just doing it for my enjoyment, but a like will give me that extra boost to do some more. And also, if you really liked it, why not subscribe? That's the best way of actually watching some of the upcoming videos, which are going to be from Madeira, from Norway, and also from Italy, from Tuscany. Thank you very much. See you next time.